Hey, thanks for watching this video. This is a quick review of our first installation of the new Infinity GreenSpeed Extreme. This particular matchup is a 22 SEER 4-ton heat pump, which is just unheard of numbers. It has a lot of really interesting new features such as Bluetooth connectivity for diagnostics and commissioning on the condenser. Now, one thing that you're going to notice, because as we shoot the video, we're not running the video the whole time. One of the things that we ran into, which is part of the training, but something that you have to do on these newer pieces of equipment, is you have to upgrade the firmware on the control and on the condenser, and that's something when you connect to the Bluetooth it shows up. One thing that we found out is that it goes a lot quicker on the firmware upgrade if you use a preloaded SD card. You'll find that from your carrier territory manager. If you don't already have it, he can give you the link to access that software. You preload it on the SD card and then you load that in the thermostat. If you do the standard Wi-Fi setup, it takes a little bit. So that was just something we learned along the way, and we don't show that whole process here in the video. So here we go. It's the new Carrier Infinity GreenSpeed Extreme. It's a mouthful 22 SEER carrier heat pump installation. All right, we've got the new Carrier Infinity system going in today. So I'm just pulling up on the job. Let's see what we're pulling out here. Looks like a Lennox heat pump coming out. So they're already pretty far along. They've already got the air handler set. This is a heat pump. Let's see what we got. Here's the old Lennox. All right, let's see what we got here. Got ourselves a big boy. Hey, it's Manny. Zach. Zach's not used to this yet. Under pressure test right now, holding nice. We're using the ICM 493 in and out because this is still an inverter driven piece of equipment. We always want to be careful to make sure that we're not giving it continuous over voltage or power surges, which is what the ICM 493 does well. Both a phase monitor, voltage monitor, and a surge protector. 5 metal oxide varistors in parallel. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 metal oxide varistors that helps protect it. Because again, you don't want to spend all that money on this bad boy and have it go out. And when I roll up and I see the big blue kit ready to rock, that's what we like to see. All right, so there he is almost done. He's gonna mastic everything. We always tape all of our mastic lines so that way when we peel the tape off, the mastic's nice and straight. We build up a little bit off the platform top to make sure we have access to put a filter in and out. Again, this is a very Florida setup with a plywood platform top. We put a new top on just to make sure that it's nice and solid, 3/4 inch. We always retrim everything where needed to make sure that it looks nice and clean, and then paint everything up when we're done. So that way it's a nice, clean, complete installation. One thing interesting with Carrier is they still do use thermostatic expansion valves rather than electronic expansion valves, and they do function the same way. I mean, in both cases, the job of the expansion valve, whether electronic or thermostatic, is to maintain evaporator superheat, and so it still does a good job at that, but it is one thing that's a little unique with these units. You can see you have the all aluminum evaporator coil, and one thing I always look at is just making sure that we're not going to have any vibration that could result in something rubbing where it shouldn't, like right there. That's a little bit of a concern point, so I'm going to make sure that we separate that and put a little foam tape in there just to be 100% sure that we're not going to get any rubbing. The factory does a good job, but we have to double check everything they do as well, just to make sure it's all good before we leave. Small thing, but anytime we're working on a vertical application, we always remove the horizontal drain pan because it's just another thing that can catch, you know, extra dirt and just gets in the way, causes turbulence in the airstream, as well as the little horizontal gooseneck. I mean, does it make a big difference? No, but getting it out of there in a vertical application just is another reduction in turbulence. So Manny is now using Seal Tight even on low voltage, which, you know, some places they've done that forever. In Florida, for whatever reason, we haven't done that, but this is definitely what we're doing from now on. Bringing the Seal Tight Carflex, whatever you want to call it, on the low voltage line as well. Looks really sweet, so well done there. Nice looking joints, very pretty. Well pulled in. You can see you actually heated it up properly, so it actually drew that alloy into the joint just like you're supposed to. All right, just kicked on the vacuum. Oil is clear, level is good. He's starting, Manny is a purist, so he's starting with the gas ballast open, and we're doing it the true blue way, the way we do every vacuum. True bluing it. Pulling from the suction side, and so that way it's got to pull all the way around. This is a decent length line set, probably, what do you think, 80 feet, something like that? Yeah. So it'll take it a little bit to first start showing, but once it starts showing, it'll come down really quick as we're measuring all the way on the other side of the circuit. All right, we're about, what, a minute in? Yeah. And now we're already down at 4,500. See, somebody like Zach can't appreciate the suffering that we've had to go through our whole lives before we got these proper setups. Makes life so much easier.
Way better than -30 HD.
Way better than just watching you peg the needle. Yeah, absolutely. And you just feel so much better about your work, you know. One interesting thing with this is it actually has a subcooling curve based on your ambient temperature. So as your ambient temperature goes up, your required subcooling also goes up. I mean, we're not talking anything huge here, starting at like 6.2 and then going up to 7.2, depending on a really wide range from 65 to 105. But that's just how precise they're being with it. And then you have the heating check chart as well. Again, you always read the manual to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to do when you got a brand new piece of equipment. Another thing is, whenever you're installing a new system, you know, just become familiarized with the components in the system and double check all the factory electrical connections. We've seen cases where there's been lugs that haven't been fully tightened and you just don't want to have those issues. So always double check. Not to say the factory's doing anything wrong, but you just always want to double check everything. Bluetooth diagnostics in it. So you can walk right up to it and see any errors that you may have right from your device. Be super careful when you're dealing with inverter driven equipment because you have much higher voltages. So once you disconnect power and you confirm that it's disconnected at the disconnect, wait 2 minutes before taking the panels off. I think this is kind of cool note on here. It talks about before replacing the TXV, complete these steps. This is right on the air handler panel. Verify airflow is correct, check subcooling, confirm TXV bulb is properly attached, verify system is free of contaminants and moisture, and the only good way of doing that is by doing your proper procedures to begin with, flowing nitrogen while brazing, and then doing a proper evacuation, and then make sure everything's clean. I would also add blower wheel to that. So often the TXV gets blamed because people think of the TXV as being a valve that is responsible for feeding charge through the evaporator coil, but you keep in mind that heat load is such a big factor in what drives superheat, and superheat is what drives your TXV open and closed. When that superheat drops because of low airflow, that valve's going to throttle down and your suction's going to drop. It's not always the TXV. You can see here, too much airflow can actually cause high velocity and can actually cause condensate blow off on this specific brand. So we set it to 350 CFM per ton in Florida in order to optimize dehumidification, but you can actually get condensate blow off if you have too high of airflow. Some microns. So we're going to let it run a little longer, do our isolation test, where we shut it off at the valve, make sure that it doesn't rise beyond the acceptable decay limit, which on this generally our rule is you pull it below 500, you know, in the 300 range, valve it off. If it doesn't rise above 500 in 10 minutes, you're good to go. There's the mastic lines, nice and clean. And the line dryer indoors to protect it from the elements. Looks like we got 10 kilowatt heaters on this. Oh no, actually 7.2 kilowatt. There's your blower motor, Gentech. If you've never gone to the dealertoolbox.com, it's a great resource for diagnosing ECM motors, either X13, ECM 3.0, 2.0, whatever you got. 50 amp on the air handler, heat strips, and we got a 40 on the outside condenser. Big part of the testing is to make sure that we're not exceeding our maximum voltage in our market, which is another reason why we put the ICM 493, because in our experience, exceeding the maximum voltage on these can result in failure. Maximum fuse 40, so we're good to go. And on this we could actually put a number 10 wire because that is the minimum circuit ampacity. If you don't believe me, look it up before arguing. I like these straps because they pretty closely match, and in Florida we have to use hurricane strapping as part of the job. Make sure that these things aren't going to blow away. Always keep plastic garbage bags handy to pick up your mess as you go. Makes a nice clean job site. All right, there's the Infinity controller. It's nice because you can check your static pressure and airflow right through the control, which is very handy. These little Milwaukees are great for doing the trim. Leaving these hog hair filters as the primary filter, I would suggest not doing that. 4-inch media, special, you know, like the Infinity Air Purifier or something like that, or filter back returns. In this case, we're gonna put the 3-inch Honeywell filters in the filter back returns, so that way you've got the larger media, but still utilizing the filter back. This little guy's been holding steady now for 10 minutes or so. I think it's moved 5 microns, something like that. I mean, this is a tight system. Again, every system has microscopic leaks that will show up under this level of deep vacuum, even just the seals, you know, that you have on your connections, but that's a very tight system. So we're ready to release the charge. All right, so we did the firmware update on the inside controller with, you can either do that with a micro SD card, or you can do it after you connect to Wi-Fi and connect to My Infinity. And then once we connected to the app, then it allowed us to do the update on the condenser. But now we're waiting for it to come on, and we're gonna do a full measure quick report on it and make sure everything's working the way it should. All right, we get some additional information off of the display here. Shows us superheat, line voltage, static pressure. We're really good on static pressure, even at our 1180 CFM on this. Yep, everything is looking good now. We did all of our tests, did our Measure Quick report, and we also checked it outside with the Bluetooth connection to the condenser. So this match is this AHRI number that you see up top here, this 205272762. It's a 22 SEER 13 EER match, which is really, really incredible because not only does it have a great SEER rating, but also a really high EER rating, aluminum evaporator coil. Dimensionally, we had to use this one to make it fit, but really great value, as well as the Bluetooth diagnostics, which we're going to go over. All right, so we've got to use the Carrier Service Tech app for this situation, this equipment. Absolutely. Of course I accept. So we can either log in as a guest or log in with HVAC Partners to get the full access. If we log in as a guest, it'll give us some stuff, but we can't log into the equipment unless we are logged in under HVAC Partners. So again, you want every technician installer to have unique HVAC Partners logins for this purpose. All right, so we are pairing the equipment using the Carrier Service Tech app. Let's see what we get. All right, we are connected. Let's see. The wall control software version is out of date and will not support the new updates. All right, so I'm gonna update the wall control. Okay, so we'll go do that first. All right, so we've got it in test mode. We're running it up in high load and testing everything out. We're also taking our own measurements outside to verify. Using superheat looks good. We're going to confirm our subcooling using Measure Quick. This is actually through the Carrier Tech app. All right, so again, a few things. We'll do some more videos moving forward on this, but a few things to know about the process here. You connect to Bluetooth on the outside. You have to use your HVAC Partners login. It's best if you have your latest thermostat or controller firmware loaded onto an SD card, and you can pop that in the thermostat to make the process a little quicker. We waited for the Wi-Fi upload, and then also you follow the same process for charging that you normally would on these Infinities. Estimate line set length, weigh in any changes, but then also just follow that charging setup initially. We ended up making a few small changes because the line set was a little bit longer than usual, but all in all, the product worked great. We followed up with the customer about a week later, and the customer is thrilled with the operation. The dehumidification is excellent on this product due to the turn down and the ratio between the airflow and the system capacity, so it just gives it really nice, consistent dehumidification, which is what we look for here in Florida. So that was the Carrier GreenSpeed Extreme. If you want to find out more about how you can be a dealer, you have to go through the training, you have to be a Carrier dealer in order to work with this product. Definitely not something you can buy off the street, definitely not something you can install if you're not a licensed contractor who's already set up with Carrier. But go to carrier.com or contact your local Carrier branch or distributor in order to find out how to become a dealer and get the GreenSpeed Extreme training. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next video.